Hi everyone, my name is Rose, also known as TA Seveners. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a continuation of my bookshelf organization video, which chronicles my journey with reorganizing my adult romance bookshelf. I went through it during the first two parts of this video. This is the last part of what was initially supposed to be one video, but it ended up being three. So I uploaded the three parts to this respective video. I'm just going to begin, and without further ado, I hope you enjoy. So I talked about the Hidden Legacy, the original Hidden Legacy trilogy. There were three more follow-up books for that respective series, and it just concluded not that long ago in terms of the second part of the series. The fourth book in that respective series is called Sapphire Flames, followed by Emerald Blaze, and then we have Ruby Fever, which is the last book in this respective series. And then we have three books. I have read the first two books in this respective series, but I have not reviewed them quite yet. But I definitely plan on reading the third, but I need to give a proper review for all three of these books. This is from another one of my favorite authors, Zoe Archer. The first book in this respective series is called Sweet Revenge. This is part of the Nemesis Unlimited series, followed by Wicked Temptation. And then the third book is called Dangerous Seduction. And so I've read Sweet Revenge and I've read Wicked Temptation, but I have not read Dangerous Seduction, but that is definitely coming down the pipeline as soon as I can possibly do it. Next up, we have His Reluctant Cowboy by A.M. Arthur. I've talked about this book on the channel in terms of a book haul before. I have the first book in this respective series on digital by ebook. I originally wanted to get this as a galley for NetGalley. Did not realize that it was the second book in the series, and didn't end up getting the galley, so I went ahead and bought that as well as the first book in the series. I'm definitely planning on getting to it as I get a chance to. This is centering a male-male cowboy romance. And then the next book that I want to feature is by Jane Ashford. This is A Favor for the Prince. I think I talked about this on the channel in terms of being intrigued by the premise of it, but it was part of one of my book hauls. And then Mary Barlow's Only Enchanting. This is part of the Survivors Club series. And I think I only have two books in that respective series in my collection. The second one is Only a Kiss. And I think there are later novels in that respective series, but I haven't read the other one, so I definitely plan on getting to them as soon as I possibly can, but I don't know when that will be. And then I have three other books to complete this one part. There's even more books back behind here that I will get to as soon as I possibly can, but the next book is a mass market paperback that I knew I wanted in my collection, and from an author I've read before. This is Maya Banks' Keep Me Safe. This is part of the Slow Burn series. And then I have one book by Sandra Brown. This is Demon Rum. I've never read from Sandra Brown, I don't believe, and I think I have a couple of her books. I think this was one that, correct me if I'm wrong if this is not romance. I believe that it is. It is a Bantam Books series, and it is considered a romantic novel based on the description on the back, but I'm not sure if this is romance exactly. It is classified as fiction, but I think this is considered romance. I'm just not 100% sure because I have not read from this author before, but it's been in my collection for a long time. And then I have Cara Bastone's Just a Heartbeat Away. I originally got this as a galley, and I picked up the mass market paperback edition of this. I will probably hold on to this one to read it. If it's something that, this would probably be the first book that I've read from this respective author. If it clicks with me, then it's definitely staying. If not, then it may be on the tentative pile, but we'll see. Not going to spend too much time on these two books because I've featured them in a book haul video before, but Anna Bennett's Rogues to Lovers series, the first book in that series is Girls Before Earls, followed by one of the most beautiful covers that I have seen in this respective series. This is One Duke Down. And I love
the smiles on the models. This is just really, really cute, and this made me actually wanted to check out this particular series. So I'm glad I have both of these. So this was another one that I am not 100% sure where to put this. I do think it may be romance, but it doesn't distinctly say. This is The Widow of Rose House by Diana Biller, and I think I've mentioned this on the channel before as part of a book haul. I'm excited to be able to read it because I've heard great things about it, but I have not read this quite yet. So like, I think it's classified as romance, but I'm not 100% sure in terms of things, but I definitely plan on reading it. And then I have this respective trilogy by Tony Blake that is considered Harlequin romance. I'm not 100% sure of the order of this, but let me check really, really quickly to see. I know this is considered the Summer Island series by Tony Blake. Okay, I think I know the order of it now. So the first book in this respective trilogy, which is considered the Summer Island series by Tony Blake, is The One Who Stays, followed by The Giving Heart, and then rounding out with The Love We Keep. And I believe I actually read the third book in this series before I read anything else in terms of stuff by Tony Blake, and I really enjoyed this respective novel. But the other two I have not read and reviewed quite yet. I think I remember, if I remember correctly, this was the one with the couple where like the main male protagonist injures himself in terms of things, and like the main female character is nursing him back to health in the aftermath of his injury. And this was a really well done book in terms of the way that it portrayed the relationship between these two characters. So I've been planning on reading the other books in the series. I originally got these as galleys, was intrigued by them, ended up buying all three of the books when they came out. So I'm definitely planning on reading all of them and giving a full review on all of them. This is another novel that I say that I definitely appreciate the artistic value of the step back in terms of things. I have never read from this author. I bought the second hand, and it seemed really appealing to me. This is Celia Brayfield's Pearls. This is the cover for it here. As you can see, in terms of the step back, it is very illustriously done in terms of all the different figures that are in here and situations. I'm looking forward to reading this. I don't quite know everything that it's about. I know it's about three women in terms of chronicling their respective stories, but considering that I'm definitely a Pearls kind of girl in terms of things, the title appealed to me, the style of it appealed to me, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading this author for the first time. And then I have Christina Britton's Some Dukes Have All the Luck. I've talked about this on the channel before as part of my book haul, as well as my NetGalley haul. I know the second book of this just probably recently came out, and I'm planning on picking that up as well as soon as I get the opportunity to do so. But this is definitely staying in my collection. And then I have a signed edition of Mel Jean Brooks' Guardian Demon, which is part of the Guardian series. This is paranormal romance. I'm definitely looking forward to reading more of Mel Jean Brooks, and I'll explain why, like in terms of my experiences with the next trilogy that I'm gonna talk about pretty soon. But I believe this is a signed edition, yes, and it's not personalized, but yeah, I got a signed copy because I won it as part of an auction in which I was raising money for a cause. So this really made me happy to be able to pick up. I don't think I have any of the other physical copies of the Guardian novels in this series, but I'm planning on picking them up. So, fun story about this next trilogy, which is also by Mel Jean Brooks. I read The Iron Duke many, many years ago, which is a novel of the high seas. This is the cover for it right here. It's been a while, so I definitely plan on rereading this again and giving a fresh review of this respective series. But I cannot tell you how hard it was to find a copy of the second book in this series, which is Heart of Steel. I think it might have went out of print for a while in terms of things. This is a relatively nice and new copy of it, but it took me so long to be able to find a copy of this to be able to read. So I'm definitely keeping all of these in my collection, and I'm excited to be able to pick this up for the first time. And then I bought this back, I think, many years ago in terms of things at my university bookstore, but this is the third book in the Iron Seas series. This is Riveted. So I'm definitely planning on reading all of these in my collection in terms of things and revisiting the Iron Duke. But man, if you knew how many times I went to bookstores over and over again, went online, went everywhere in terms of trying to find a copy of this respective story, you have no idea. I am glad that I was able to get my hands on this in terms of things, because I don't know, and it's in, like I said, it's in relatively new condition, so I was able to pick up a copy on, and I'm glad that I have it in terms of the complete trilogy. But yeah. So I'm going to put all these particular books back on this respective first part of the shelf, and we're going to move on to the next two. So this answers my question. This particular novel is definitely romance from what it showcases in terms of this particular book. I talked about Sandra Brown in terms of authors that I have not read from in terms of things, and this is another really old copy of a mass market paperback edition book that I haven't read, but it's considered historical romance. I think this is Another Dawn, and I don't know much about this one, and you can tell how old it is in terms of the author cover on the back. But romantic mastery of the romantic genre. When was this published? 1985. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So I will put this to the side and definitely read it and give you my thoughts about it, but I have not read from this author yet. And then I have 3 books in the Hope series by J.C. Burton. I'm not 100% sure of the order of this, and I know this isn't the complete series, but these are the only books of this particular series that I own. I have Hope Burns, and then Don't Let Go, and let's see, Love Me Again. These are the only 3 that I have of the Hope series novels, so I'm definitely planning on reading these. Some of these I was able to get as a used copy of, like from library sales. This other one I think I also got secondhand as well. And then I have 3 Arabesque books that I definitely want to highlight. 2 of them are by the same author, Lori Bussey. This one I believe I read many years ago, and I don't remember much about it, but I remember that I liked it. This is A Taste of Love by that same author. And this one I just recently picked up secondhand. This is Nightfall by the same author. So I'm definitely looking forward to revisiting this one and reading this one for the first time. And then I have another Arabesque unpublished title. This is Love Takes Time by Adrienne Bird. I have not read this one, and it looks extremely cute, so I'm definitely going to take my time with respective premise, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I also love like kind of beach level romances. I'm not sure if this is a beach level 1. Platonic friendship turns into a deep passionate affair that leaves them both feeling confused and guilty. Okay, so that's going to be interesting in terms of seeing what this does, but I'm definitely looking forward to being able to read this. Okay, we're getting into one of my all-time favorite series right here in terms of mass market paperback editions of books. So I'm going to go through them quickly. This is the Darkest London series by Kristen Callahan, which starts with Firelight. I really love this book. Followed by Moonglow. And then the third book is Winter Blaze. Shadow Dance I originally got as a galley directly from the publisher and the author, so this is an art copy of Shadow Dance. I've been meaning to buy the final final copy of this respective book for the longest time, and I probably do need to I'll probably pass this along once I do that. But this was one of my favorite novels. I really loved Jack and Mary's relationship in this respective novel, even though a lot of difficult events happen in the lives of both of these characters, but I was rooting for both of them when I picked this up. And then I have Evernight, which is the fifth book in this series. And then these two are ones I think I have not read them, and I want to finish out the series, but I wanted to revisit the first 5 books in the series before I got to these. So this is the sixth book, which is Soulbound, followed by Forevermore. And love the world building, love the writing style, love the chemistry of the characters. Very comfort reading in terms of my personal taste in terms of fiction and a historical fantasy fiction in terms of things. And I thought that everything in this respective series was just very, very well done. I think it's not an easy series to read with respect to some of the events that happen in it, but I do want to revisit this series for myself and give my thoughts about it from a fresh perspective. But it's one of my all-time favorite series, and I love Kristen Callahan's writing. It was my introduction to Kristen Callahan, and it cemented her as one of my favorite authors for sure. So definitely holding on to all of these books. So next up we have the only physical copy that I have of a Samantha Chase book, and this is part of the Shaughnessy Brothers series. This is Tangled Up in You. Got this a while back. I don't believe I've read it, so I definitely plan on keeping it in my collection and giving my thoughts about it. And then I have several Alyssa Cole books. I have the Reluctant Royals series. This is a novella for it called Cascade Love. And then I have two different books, and this is not in order. These are just the 2 books that I have in this respective series. A Prince on Paper, as well as A Duke by Default. And then I have 2 books in the Runaway Royals series. I have How to Catch a Queen, as well as How to Find a Princess, which I've read How to Find a Princess, and I really enjoyed this sapphic romance novel in terms of things. I definitely want to revisit it and give a full review on this. I have not read How to Catch a Queen yet, I don't believe, so I think I'm going to go in and try to read this as soon as I possibly can myself. I have the 3rd book in a respective series that I own the first 2 books digitally, but the 3rd one I picked up physically. This is Gina Conkle's For Scott's Heart Only. This is part of the Scottish Treasures series, and I think it is the last book in this respective series. Followed by another Arabesque title that I have in my collection that's relatively new because I got it secondhand. This is Francine Craft's Born to Love You. I actually really love the cover of that, but I've never read this particular novel, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Then I have another one of my favorite authors that I mentioned before in terms of the trade paperbacks that I own. Jennifer Cruzy, I've been reading for many years, and I believe 2 of these I have read, the other one I have not. So I have read Faking It by Jennifer Cruzy, and I definitely want to revisit this at some point. Trying to make sure that these don't fall on me. And then I have Crazy for You, which I've read as well. It's been a little while since I've read this one. And then I have Fast Women, which I have not read, which I'm planning on doing so when I have the opportunity to do so. But Jennifer Cruzy is one of my go-to romance authors who writes romantic comedy very, very well in terms of the different characters she showcases and things like that. I'm kind of surprised that I don't own a copy of Bet Me, but I think I have Bet Me on audio, so that's the only reason why I don't have that as in a physical copy form. Bet Me is one of my all-time favorite romance books, as well as one of my all-time Jennifer Cruzy favorite novels in terms of things. Same thing with Agnes and the Hitman, which she co-wrote with Bob Mayer. And I have Agnes and the Hitman definitely on audio as well. And then I have technically 3 books by Victoria Dahl. And Victoria Dahl is also the name, the romance name for the same author, who is Victoria Helen Stone. I don't think Victoria Dahl writes romance fiction anymore, but a lot of her books have been hit and miss with me. Some of them I really enjoyed. Some of them were like, yeah, this is okay, but it's not my cup of tea. But I really enjoy these respective novels that are in my collection. I have 2 copies of Close Enough to Touch by Victoria Dahl. One of them is a little bit rougher, and you can tell that the cover is torn in the corner. I may let this one go. I think I'm going to let this one go. So that will be put in the pile, like, in terms of things. I don't know if I want to list this on Pango Books, though. It may not sell because of the tear in the cover, but it's still otherwise a really readable copy. So I'm going to try it and see. I'll just price it very low. And then this is a second copy of Close Enough to Touch. I think I've read all the books in this respective series in terms of things, but it's been a while, and I definitely want to keep this in my collection. And then I have definitely read Too Hot to Handle. I really enjoyed this book at the time that I read it, so I'm definitely keeping this in my collection. And I think that will do it in terms of this middle section, and we're going to get into the last bit of this collection, of this particular bookshelf, before I end the video. So let me put these back and get to the last bit. All right, last part of this respective shelf. I'm so excited. We are almost done with this particular bookshelf, though. We still have a whole other bookshelf to go in terms of mass market paperback adult romance titles. So this is not the end. Even when I get to the end of this video, it is not the end of my adult romance collection. So just so you know, FYI in terms of things. But I'm going to do this last part, and then we're going to call it a day. So the first book that I want to feature is one of 2 physical copies of books that I own by Lauren Dane, and Lauren Dane is one of my favorite authors as well. This is part, I think, of a contemporary duology that she has, either a duology or a trilogy. I'm not 100% sure, but I know this is the second book in this respective series. This is Broken Open, a contemporary romance by Lauren Dane. This is the cover right here. And then published under, I think, let's see, Broken Open was published under Harlequin. And then this next book is published under Carina Press. This is Moonstruck by Lauren Dane. As you can see, this is the cover here. And then I have another cowboy romance that from an author that is new to me. I got this as part of a bundle of books that someone was trying to get rid of, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to hold on to this one, because even though I do love cowboy romances, it's not the most subgenre that I read from in terms of romance series. But this is B.J. Daniels' Lone Rider, which is part of the Montana Hamiltons. What I will do is I will put this in the tentative pile, read it. If I like it, then I'm definitely keeping it. If not, then I'm going to give it another good home. Next is a Christmas anthology from one of my all-time favorite authors. I love all 4 of these authors, and I've read from them before, but this is How the Duke Stole Christmas. This includes Tessa Dare, Sarah McLean, Sophie Jordan, and Joanna Shoup. So this was a delightful read. I've read it already. It's been a little while since I've read it, so I'm definitely going to give it a reread and give my full thoughts about it. I have not written a review for this yet, but I definitely enjoyed it. I think I gave this 4 stars if I remember correctly, but yeah, definitely going to revisit it. And then I have several other of Tessa Dare's series here. I have Castles Ever After. This particular book is part of the Castles Ever After series. This is Romancing the Duke. This one I have not read yet. And then I've read the first 2 books in this respective series. Many years ago. I think this trilogy was the one that introduced me to Tessa Dare many years ago, and I have a story behind this respective book, because I had entered a contest that Courtney Milan was running on her blog many years ago, and as you can probably tell, it was like during the heyday of blogging. But Courtney Milan was running a contest, and it was for the book One Dance with the Duke, which is the first book in this respective series. And I ended up winning, and and she contacted me, said, "Hey, you won!" And it was not only my introduction to Tessa Dare, who became my favorite author, one of my favorite authors after that, but also Courtney Milan became one of my favorite authors after that as well. So it's a fun little story in terms of that, in terms of my introduction to Tessa Dare, which I promptly picked up Twice Tempted by a Rogue, as well as Three Nights with a Scoundrel, which is the last book in this respective trilogy. I've read the first two. I don't think I've read the third one in terms of stuff, even though I love all three of these covers in terms of stuff, and I really love the first two books in this series. So I'm hoping, I think I wrote a review a long time ago for One Dance with the Dupe, but I don't think I've written a review for Twice Tempted by a Rogue. So I definitely want to remedy that and give my thoughts about them once I finish. Next up, I have a book I mentioned before in terms of one of my favorite books from this respective author. I don't think she's published anything recently, as I mentioned before, but this was one of my introductions to her work. This was Just One Night by Kyra Davis. I really enjoyed this book. I read it many years ago. I definitely want to give it a reread, especially since I want to be able to read the companion works with respect to this particular novel, but I'm definitely keeping this in my collection. And then to showcase another set of books, this is the fourth book in the Nantucket Brides novel. I believe I've read two of the other books in this respective series, but it's been a little while, and I definitely knew I wanted to read this. This is Ever After. So as you can see, this is the cover right here, and it is really pretty. But I wanted to reread the books that I had read from this respective series before getting to this one, but I did pick up this one a while back. And then I have three books from Eva Devon, which I talked about before on the channel in terms of my book hauls. This one is the I believe this is considered to be, I'm trying to think of the name of this respective series, Never a Wallflower series. Okay, so I got that. So I think this starts with The Spinster and the Rake, followed by Much About Dukes, and then The Duke's Secret Cinderella. I think I had mentioned on the channel before that I had gotten rejected for one of the books on NetGalley, so I ended up buying the first book and the second book, and then I ended up getting a galley for the third book, but I had already pre-ordered it, so like it ended up in my hand in terms of things. So I'm very happy to have gotten all three of these books, and I'm definitely planning on reading them as soon as I possibly can and giving my thoughts about it. All right, last section, and I promise that this is the last section, and we shall see. Let's get to it. So, this is another author that I consider a favorite. I mentioned her before in terms of the trade paperbacks that I have from her in terms of things. One of these books, like I own this most of the books in this particular series on digital, but I only have this particular book in the Games People Play series. This is Helen K. Diamond's The Enforcer, and I actually really enjoyed this particular novel. And then I have both books in this respective duology by Helen K. Diamond, which the first one in this respective book, I think, is called The Secret She Keeps, followed by Her Other Secret. And this is a signed, personalized copy that I got from the author, which made me very, very happy when I won it in a fundraiser in terms of things. So I'm definitely cherishing both of these respective books. I think I might have mixed up the order of it. If I did, then I will definitely make a note on this, but I am definitely looking forward to reading both of these, and I'm going to cherish these in my collection for a long, long time. And then I have a whole bunch of books by Piper J. Drake. So to also tell the story about this was part of another fundraiser that I was a part of that I won as an auction, and I actually have two sets of books. Like I won the collective series in one auction, and then for another auction I won the individual books. I decided that since I have like some duplicates in this, I wanted to get rid of the ones that were duplicates that weren't personalized to me. So I'm going to go through that just very quickly. I think this is considered to be the True Hero series by Piper J. Drake. And I think it starts with, wait, let me see if I got this right, because I don't want to mess up the order of this. Yeah, I definitely don't want to mess up the order in this in terms of things. So let me rearrange this really quickly, and I'll be right back. All right, I think I got it now in terms of the correct order for the True Hero series. So the first book in the series is Extreme Honor by Piper J. Drake, followed by Ultimate Courage, Absolute Trust, Total Bravery, and Fierce Justice. And the last book is Forever Strong. And I do appreciate a good romantic suspense series, and that was what I was told this respective series is considered. So to win the signed copies of this really made my day, and I'm definitely planning on reading all of them. I had made it a yearly goal to try to read these all within the same year. I tried to do it last year. It didn't pan out. I'm going to try to see if I can read all five, I think this is a total of 6 books this year in terms of things, and give my thoughts about them when I can. Which means that these 2 books here are duplicates. As you can see, I've got both of these as duplicates in terms of things. I'm trying to think if these are the ones that are personalized to me or not. I'm not 100% sure. No, I don't think they are. So I'm going to actually put these up for sale on my Pango books because they're in brand new condition and they are signed. I think Fierce Justice is signed, Forever Strong is not. So I'll put that on my Pango books, and I will sell these in terms of things because they're duplicate copies of a series that I already have in full, which every other copy is signed. So that will be put in my sold pile, and we're going to keep going and finish out this particular part of the shelf. This one was another signed copy from Piper J. Drake that I got, and this was part of the Safeguard series. This is Hidden Impact. I have not read this respective series, but I definitely look forward to doing so. And then the last 4 books. We are down to the last 4 books on the shelf. So this is a series that I've talked about on the channel before that I've gotten as a book haul. And this is by Megan Frampton. This is the Schools for Scoundrels series. And the first one is Her Lessons in Persuasion, followed by His Study in Scandal. And then I have, this was a really cute series that I was introduced in terms of galley copies, but this is the only physical copy that I have from Tana Finsk. This is The Best Kept Secret, and as you can see, this is a really cute cover. I really like it, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. And then lastly is a compilation, an anthology of several different authors, and you will hear Laurie Foster's name quite a few times in terms of my bookish collection things, because I have a lot of her books. But this is comprised of Laurie Foster, Susan Donovan, and Victoria Dahl. This is The Guy Next Door. And I believe I got this as a galley many years ago in terms of things, but I was able to find a secondhand copy of it because I wanted to keep it in my collection. And yeah, that is it in terms of all the books that I have on this respective bookshelf in my collection in terms of things. And I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have gotten to this part of the video, then you are a trooper, because I know that this is going to be a long video in terms of all the books that I have in my collection, especially for this respective shelf. We have one more shelf of romance books to go that are all mass market paperback, and you can look forward to that in the next video. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be informed of when I post new videos. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next video.